This fish place here is supposed to be really good. They always have lines and stuff in the afternoon. Tiki's a meeting spot over there. They've moved a couple of times. Not sure how they're doing over there. Ah, the mochi malasadas, if you remember from my video on the Iolani Fair, that's what I had there. It's pretty tasty. This little half block area here has been up for development for quite some time now. Supposedly the ABC store people bought it. I'm sure they'll make it into some big ABC place. But there used to be a couple bars there that were happening back in the day, and an after hours place that we used to go to a long time ago. Now 9 o'clock, I'm ready for bed. Then it was like they stayed open until 4 in the morning. Can you imagine? Oh, not anymore. We might take a little detour. Last time we did a detour to the park over there. This time I think we'll take a little detour back down here, see what's happening. So many restaurants, so many choices. This is new pizza place. Of course, Ross, golf place. Big Island Burger there. Look at them. Cute little space there. I think I went to go down this back alley because if I remember correctly, it opens up to like an open courtyard area that's like an old international marketplace looking kind of setting. So much poke. Oh my goodness. This place too has changed a bunch of times. Peanut and ice cream. Oh. This is the duty-free store here. We're gonna go on the back part of it. Another little cafe opened up here. What is this one? See, this is the Cuckoo Coconuts. They open that for dinner and stuff. It's kind of got that whole old vibe from the old international marketplace vibe. Barbecue something or another there. This must be the front entrance to it. They didn't open until 5. Ooh, made a little volcano action there. It's cool. There's dog clothes here. Kind of like the old international marketplace vibes. Duty free over there. trying to do a little food court thing back there. Another building for lease. Little Italy. This actually used to be an ABC store. Yes. Okay, Bono is a Grand Sumo champion. Was very popular here. Glad his statue found a place. This is changing and opening up something different. I know it was for lease for a while. Across the street's being redeveloped too. Jewelry shops before. Ooh, melts. Gelato. Aloha Amigo Cantina. Fun space the way they redid it, painted, did some fun things in there. Courtyard by Marriott. This hotel just did a big renovation. IHOP. I think this one's actually closing. Don't quote me on that though. There's the tail end of Kuhio here. This spot is a little bit less developed down here. Still some restaurants, and you can see some of the smaller apartment buildings that are still left. Some of the fun hotels, but not as developed as the couple blocks we just passed. This space has been for sale for a while. Always thought this one here that says Oyster Hall was a really cool building, especially from the other side, because there's a parking lot on the other side, and it used to be like an old house, like a really fancy house, and they changed the 3 floors into like a restaurant, shop, and stuff downstairs. But it has a lot of great architectural elements to it that maybe you can't see around this truck, but still kind of cool. They have these like portico windows on the other side. Maybe I'll stop over there and see if we can't see that. Let's cross here. See, it's kind of a cool building from the front. Can you imagine that being your house? Right in Waikiki. And see, this is the back of that same house. Isn't that cool? That little backyard area there. Maybe at one time they had all of this land back here, which has been a city parking lot for a long time. But I always thought that that was really cool, because back in the day I used to park in this parking lot. It's been a parking lot since the 70s, 80s. But that house was always there and always had that cool sort of windows and the lanterns there and all that. So it's really kind of a cool building. And I don't know the history of it, but I just showed you the other side, and now here's the back side. Cool, huh? Parking lot, and of course, one of the 2 Ritz-Carlton towers. Hopefully if you're watching a bunch of my videos, you'll see some landmarks like this that I've pointed out in other videos when we were on the other side of it, about 5-6 blocks away, so you can get your sort of points of reference. But there's Kuhio off there, and we're heading back out to continue our walk. Part of the redevelopment, I'm sure, that the Ritz-Carlton was responsible for was sort of beautifying the surrounding area. So they built up this nice little area here around the bus stop, and I think this might have been part of the parking before, but now it's a nice sort of walkway. So worked out all right, I guess. Now this building with all the ivy or plant growth on the side of it is like a 2-story apartment building, and it has an interesting history because my uncle lived there. He owned the building. This was many years ago, or at least a unit or 2 in the building. And when my dad came over, he lived in there for a while. And so then my mom came, and I think I might have even been there for a while, but at least there's some pictures of me at parties and stuff in there. It's got a really cute like staircase, wraparound staircase. They put that terrible like food stand in front of it, just trying to monopolize on every square foot, I understand. But anyways, it's kind of a cute building. I remember some cool architectural elements there as well. But yeah, I think I lived there, or at least I visited there. And it's interesting that that building is even still around, because that's the type of building that would have been torn down. Here we in between the buses, that's the front view of the building where my uncle lived and my parents lived for a little while. They had different change of, it probably was somebody's house that they changed into apartments, and so I know they stayed on the bottom floors. All right, this building's been around for a long time too. Painted pink, stands out. So I got that Art Deco kind of thing going on. It used to be, I believe, the reason they had those circles there is because it was matched Kuhio movie theater that was right across the street over here, where that sort of mustard color building is. This is again is the Ritz-Carlton in the second tower. But if I can find an old picture of the old Kuhio Theater that kind of had this same look. So I'm not sure if the Kuhio Theater came first or this one came first, but this one is still standing. So let me see if I can find a picture of Kuhio Theater and put it right here. So that mustard beigeish building is where that Kuhio Theater used to be. And across the street was a bar called Hula's and Hamburger Mary's, and it's all part of the Ritz-Carlton development now. But interesting note, this is the same tree that was in the middle of Hula's. It was a tree that the bar was kind of built around, and I know they saved the tree when they did the redevelopment of this area. And so this is the tree that used to be in the center of Hula's. And I don't know if I have a picture of that or not, but it's great that they did save some of these older, more mature trees, like these actual really thick ones that are surrounded by the planters. Those were saved trees that were all here before. So I don't know if I can find a picture of this area and what it used to look like, but if I can, I will put it here. This was rebuilt as well. This is the back side of it, but in the front side, again, was where the Kuhio Theater used to be. And on the front side during the 80s and 90s, there was a Banana Republic and All-Star Cafe, but those closed and was closed for a long time. And then they redeveloped it and built these probably vacation rentals, timeshares. It looked very boxy, not very Hawaiian, kind of disappointing, kind of cheaply looked, whatever. But not as great as some of the developments around. I mean, the Ritz-Carlton looks fancy and new and modern, so that's great, but this looks just very like plain and not very, they could have done so much more with it, but it is what it is. And we are at the beginning of where Kuhio starts, and it splits off of Kalakaua, and that's a La Croix, as an absolutely fabulous hotel there. Put a little park in the corner here. I'm sure that should look familiar from some of my other videos, but now we're on the opposite side of the street. This used to be a TGI Fridays. Anybody old enough to know what a TGI Fridays is? I used to work at TGI Fridays. Not this one, but in Marina del Rey in California. I worked there all through school. Anyways, that was a TGI Fridays back in the day. There's that little park where it splits, and the beautiful shower trees. Now you can kind of see that ambassador sign there, and there it is up on top. That's an old sign. It's been there for a long time. If you watch old episodes of Hawaii Five-0, you can see it. At night it still lights up, still works. Actually, I don't think it worked for a while, but since the hotel has done its renovations, it works now. Put some new restaurants, new coffee shop downstairs here, clean things up. So again, always developed and redeveloped. This used to be a Thai restaurant we went into, and I remember seeing a picture of B. Arthur in there looking very Golden Girls, called Keonis, something like that. Anyways, they closed a while ago, and looking for a new restaurant in there. There's that park we talked about that splits Kalakaua and Kuhio. Oh, there's another ABC store. You got it. Shower trees look really beautiful. Kind of reminds me of Japan. Cherry blossoms. So our Hawaiian shower trees. It's Fort DeRussy Park on the other side of the street there. Some of the plumerias in bloom. Looking right pretty. Should look familiar where we're at, where we're coming up to, of course, to Rock Island Cafe at the beginning of Waikiki. With the Fort DeRussy Park there. And Rock Island is just up there where those tall buildings are. And Rock Island is right up on the corner there. And I think we're going to finish it, and I'm going to walk back down this side street because I haven't been down this street in a while. Yeah, you can see that Ambassador Hotel sign. Ritz-Carlton, the split of Kalakaua and Kuhio, and then Fort DeRussy Park. Hope you had fun today. The Hilton Rainbow Tower. Just trying to give you a perspective from all of our other tours and some of the sites you may have seen on those to give you reference to where we're at. Some interesting side street footage from this building here. Kind of interesting, super 70s. Con Tiki, even got a little tiki out front there, which is kind of cool. Side streets. There's kind of an interesting looking building there that's got a great sign called the Hawaiian Crown. You can tell from the logo and the fonts that it's an older building from the 60s or 70s. A lot of these side streets, there's still some small houses like this one here that have been rebuilt, and then the large apartment buildings. All right, guys, thanks for joining us today. Hopefully you had fun walking down Kuhio Avenue with me. Another great shot of what's happening at Kings Village, right? Amazing. Waikiki always being developed, redeveloped, so much potential in this area. But I hope you had fun. Join me, follow me, help me build this channel. We really appreciate it. And until next time, aloha.